It's vlog time, baby. It's your boy Birch back at it again. Hi, I'm back again. It's been a bit. Hi. Yeah, so where the fuck have I been? Good question, audience at home. I've been okay. My semester has kicked my fucking ass, so to speak. I thought I would have had so much more time, what have you. God, I'm so fucking sweaty. Jesus Christ. I've barely started. And I'm already fucking melting. It's May. It's May 5th. It is May 5th. I'm recording this on Cinco de Mayo. Anyway, this vlog was supposed to be at least the concept for this one, whereas 0 was to just sort of introduce the idea. This vlog is going to be more of a progress report. What the fuck have I done in the last quarter of this year? Yeah. It was originally going to be a quarter vlog, so after the first 3 months, but then in April, Blueprints dropped, and that subsequently took over my life. So yeah, imagine me being a little bit more rehearsed in what I was going to say or do in front of this. You can tell time has also passed because my hair is much longer than it was prior to it. I'm so good at this. Yeah, we're gonna go with that. We're gonna get the bangs off my fucking forehead. But first, we're doing a progress report. And you know how we're doing a progress report? The only way I goddamn know how. We're doing a shitty board tier list. So, how this essentially is going to work. You can't see what I've written on this in general. I'm doing 2 camera angles to hopefully have some better idea of showing this. But fuck it, we ball. How this vlog is going to work. So, in the 0 vlog, I kind of just dropped a lot of items as possible things to do that were most of them on there were, if you couldn't tell, shit posts, jokes, or just silly things of that caliber. I have since gone through all of that and my notes from before I made that vlog and sort of codified what the 30 goals I'm going for this year, for the 30 before 30, because that's why we're here, is the 30 before 30 shit again. So here I have this lovely board of, we're going to tack on the things that I've done this year to this. Up at top we have done, so this is going to be for anything that I've actually completed in its entirety already. Which, surprisingly, as I was doing this, there were a few more things than, like, I thought there were going to be. Then, in the middle, we have some. This is for in progress, things that I have not completed yet, or in various states of completion, comparatively to, say, done. Or, at the bottom, is a category I'm calling fuck if I know. Just saying not completed or not started also didn't feel like super great, theoretically. So, because fuck if I know also kind of encapsulates this idea of that, like, there are some things that, like, I just have good reason for not have starting yet, but at the same time, you know, fuck if I know. Yeah, we already started with Blueprints, so let's get into the good old start of where any of these lists are going to go first. I had them on index cards. You see, index cards. I came prepared for this vlog, or did I? I don't really know. I like to think I did. Anyway, play 30 video games. Of course, this is all going to be mirrored in the fucking that is under some. Why I'm saying some is I'm also defining playing video game, or my definition for playing games more or less kind of counts as I have three rules I'm going with. 1, roll to the credits. 2, have played long enough to engage with enough of the core mechanics of the game to get a good sense or good idea of the gameplay loop. Or I've at least played 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on the type of game. I'll flash like a full list, because I've played 15 games by that criteria at this point in time, and we're only 4 full months into the year. Like, I know Tekken is on the list. Tekken, that's something I could pour hundreds and hundreds of hours into, and there's not necessarily a way to roll credits with it, as well as there is so much in the mechanics of that game that I will not be able to get into until I played hundreds of hours. But I also have other things to do with my life. Speaking of other things to do with my life, the next one on the board, play a Sonic the Hedgehog game. This is a physical comedy act at this point. Fast forward to these next couple of ones because they're all pretty much the same result and answer. Largely because they have not been the games I've wanted to play up until this point. Like, play all the Kingdom Hearts games. I just haven't had the fucking physical hours to sit down and do things like this. Granted, you could probably take all the combined hours I put into at least several, if not a couple of the games I have on that played list, and say that I could have fit at least one whole Kingdom Hearts game in that time frame. And to that I say, eat shit. I don't care. Playing a Souls-like. Or I'm gonna 1-2 punch. Playing a Souls-like and finishing a multi-world randomizer. Because once again, time. I'm a student. But yeah, and then we hit. This next one is a little interesting. And that is 100%ing a game. So, yes, This one's weird. I'm going to say it is in progress because I have several games on that played list that I technically could just go back into and 100% them. But at the same time, none of them are really calling out to me at the moment to be 100%ed, so I don't really feel like it's correct to say that I'm committing to any of them necessarily. But at the same time, I have made progress towards 100%ing a game in some capacity. And my push pins are too long for this corkboard, so well, I might need to get a new corkboard in general after this. That's fine. That's God. Oh, that was Vaporeon falling. Okay. Whew. What's next on the list? Now we're getting out of games, and we're going into. This is generally like the consumption goals sort of section of everything. I really should have explained at the top of this section, but you know what, live and let learn. Watch 30 movies. This is something I'm currently at 13 out of 30. Once again, the list of what I watched so far. A lot of these so far have been for like school and such. Just need to like recenter myself for a hot second because I've been recording for 21 minutes and I've seemingly fucked up my audio twice in the same way. Anyway, so the next one up is watch all the movies by a single director. Very similarly to 100% in a game, where like according to that list of movies that I've already watched, I technically could just pick something or someone like Rian Johnson and with like Knives Out and just watch the rest of his movies and call it a day. Which I might do that because I like Rian Johnson's films. Don't ask me about my Last Jedi opinions. Watch all the movies from a single director. That's in progress, baby. That's a sum. That's a sum, baby. That's a sum. Some like it hot, baby. We got 2 more in the consumption habit, and then we're going to get to into some that like are more fun. First, the last 2. Watch a show with 30 plus episodes. Watch a show with 30 plus episodes. 30 number bit, haha, go funny, go burr. I think what I'm going to count as like this is that I actually do get to episode 30. So who knows if I'm just going to watch an old show that has a traditional 21, 22 episode season, because that means I technically finish this in like halfway through season 2. I may just start watching One Piece. Save the funniest one for last, and that is read 30 books. I'm not going to flash a list because I've only read one. This is how you lose the Time War. That's not... Why do I really need to get me, like, looking into this camera like it's The Office. Anyway, yeah, I've read 1 out of 30. I'm doing great. But 1 out of 30 still means that's some, baby. My note literally just says, for read 30 books, this is how you lose the Time War. Send tweet. Shoutouts to Big Listiculus. Syncing this sound's gonna be a fucking nightmare. Anyway, so now that we're through my sort of consumption goals, I'll say, because it's mostly about me like either consuming some piece of media or something of the like to that, we're going to get into what I call the creative goals. So these are all sort of making things and the like. We're starting strong with the making things goals in make 30 videos. This is technically, if we're counting just the 2025 calendar year, what you are watching right now is video 2 out of 30. I don't even know what this feed looks like. We're doing the bit anyway. But that's in progress, baby. We take those. We take that progress. Which leads me directly into the next one, that is make a video essay. This one, I want to talk about a little bit more. I have like a very good... back in like early February, I started working on a video essay about anime rivals and shipping. Because if you couldn't tell by looking at me that is my quote-unquote brand, joke's on you. But anyway, so I got a great deal into this specific essay, like notes-wise. But then ultimately it had to get like sidelined because of coursework, teaching, and like it also was like really suffering from scope creep. Like I was pulling in like academic articles, and it was becoming like a discussion of homosexuality in Japan. So it's one of those where it's like I now, like most of the items on this list, now that I'm turning the corner of the middle third of this year, where I'm going to be off work for quite a bit of it, I have the time. I can go back to it if I really want to and kind of rework some of it, or I may just turn to another idea for the video essay for the time being, simply because of scope creep. Like maybe just kind of go in and work on a smaller idea to begin with, hopefully. But either way, say it with me, chat. That's in progress. Now we're ending that streak with make a cosplay. I have not, so it's going down here. It's going here. Making a cosplay is something I've wanted to do for a really long time. But like the video essay, scope creep, and me having ideas that are outside of my skill level, and not being able to fulfill it. And next up is sewing a whole outfit from scratch. And I know you're probably wondering at home, Birch, how the fuck is this any different from making a cosplay? Don't you have to sew the cosplay? What I'm choosing to go with for sewing an outfit from scratch is something like more focused on day-to-day wear as opposed to like something that is a costume, like that has a connotation of a more limited use case, whereas this is, I could sew a whole outfit that works together or in pieces, and that is not trying to necessarily mimic a character, although I may take design inspirations from characters and such, if I so choose to do so. Anyway, next up is do a 30-day art prompt challenge. Once again, I'm going to sound like a broken record as to why I haven't done X thing, is that it's just time. It's just school, time, executive dysfunction. But like, this is also kind of like all the cool prompt lists are like towards the end of the year. So like there hasn't really been anything that like has stuck out to me. But also at this point, now that I have some time, I may just like come up with a prompt list myself. I've done that before with like a Pokemon one in March that was like, that got some attention, but then that fucking failed again. Professor Birch lore. But yeah, so I may just go ahead and like let's just mark that down as not done. Woo! Okay, so here is where we're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to get mildly serious. We are 15 items through this so far. And considering it's 30 items, I'm going to take this halfway break point as a time to talk about 3 things that I'm taking off the list that I initially sort of had back when I made the Zero vlog. Mostly for the sake of my own continuity. Because like I started writing these notes in April. Or I started writing the notes for this vlog, this vlog in April. And a lot of that was still going off of things that I said in the Zero vlog. That now that another month or so has passed since I started writing the notes for this one, I'm going to go back and revisit. Or like in revisiting some of those, I'm like, you know what? I can actually do something else. The first one of which, applying for jobs. Joke's on me, looking for a career or working on my career advancement is an ongoing process that is not going to necessarily end when I get a job. Because capitalism. So with that, I felt the need to take it off because it just seemed like one of those amorphous goals that like, I've technically applied for a job already this year. So like, I could say it's done, but at the same time, since I don't have said job, is it really done? No. And with that, I also come submitting to screenplay competitions. As a screenwriter by trade, first and foremost, that's something that like wasn't really coming up until this point in the year. It has fixed deadlines, but at the same time, is that like it's winning the screenplay competition would be one thing. Just the act of like submitting it to it, I need like the material to submit, and such. And it's just one of those where it's like. It felt like a very nothing burger goal, if that makes sense, where it's just like, I could just kind of do it and I'm good. But it doesn't feel like fulfilling to fill out a form, if that makes sense. Similarly to applying to a job. Which the last one I'm going to like just really brush upon, because once again, it feels like one of these never-ending goals, essentially, and that's learn Blender. The fuck do you mean, learn Blender? I've done a little bit of stuff with it earlier this year, but it's just one of those programs where, like, there's so much to it that, like, I can't possibly, like, actually finish learning Blender. There will not be a single point in time where I will be done learning Blender. Blender is internal. Blender can either kill God or be God, and I do not. So anyway, back to creation goals. Yeah, back to creative goals. Speaking of Blender, design a game. This one we're getting back to in progress, boys. We're back to some designing a game. I have like with the video essay, I have notes and such for a game I want to make in mind. But at the same time, it's just have not been able to get to it. This one is a little bit more just a motivation in addition to, like, general school shit. But you know what will help with designing that game? Finishing a new screenplay. I'm taking a second here to talk about this because finishing a new screenplay is also in progress, because I'm currently working on a couple screenplays for class, because that's what my fucking MFA is in, screenwriting, because I make good choices. Anyway, so screenwriting. I'm writing a one of those, which I want to just talk on one of those two scripts at the moment, is that I'm writing a sort of very self-indulgent card battler anime, and with that, I'm designing a game around it. I may share more details with that later as I'm sort of designing the game and such, or the game itself around the script. Maybe even when I finish the script. Who knows? It's nearly done.
Hi, Editor DJ cutting in real quick to say that I have finished this script in the days since I have recorded this. So, we're counting that as done. Cool. Thanks. Back to scheduled programming.
I have at least that script fully outlined. We're not going to talk about the other script that's a feature-length film. We're not. Okay? We're not going to talk about that one. But I'm almost done with the one I did talk about, though, which is the yes. Okay. Now, next comes another sort of fuck if I know creative one, and that's directing a short that I wrote. It's weird. Like, I have a short that I've written, but like this one's kind of I'm gonna put this one sort of on an in between. You can see here as it's straddling the line of fuck if I know. Where I was gonna do a bit where I like replaced the F's in fuck if I know throughout the entire time, but at this point, fuck it. Yeah, so it's straddling that line because like I don't know if the shorts I've written are something I want to actually direct or produce. Speaking of directing things, I want to run a TTRPG campaign for my friends. Don't know what the game is, what game I want to do, what have you. I have some ideas, but at the same time, this is probably the more sort of... I don't even have plans with friends to do this necessarily. Or I do, but like they've only been kind of talked about or mentioned. I don't have anything like solid. So this is going under... fuck if I know for the time being. And before, and as we now wrap up the creative endeavors, the last one I have for creative goals in the 30 for 30 is writing a song. Fortunately, not completed. You'll probably know if I've completed it because I'll probably post it in here. But at the same time, I don't... Suffering from a lack of time. Okay. Let's wrap this up. So, a final category, as we now are sort of hitting the home stretch of this third of the way vlog. I have goals that are more so, I'm going to call this category cultivation. Cultivation in the sense of that it's both sort of cultivating not only skills of my own and talents, but also sort of cultivating community, culture, just making me a well-rounded human being, ideally. The real human experience. And we're starting off strong with the real human experience of that. I know I just kind of like also said a little bit ago that like learning Blender is a weird minefield of like I'll never actually like complete it or like but to kind of go along with writing a song, first up is relearning how to play the piano. This is something that I kind of have always done throughout my entire life, and I have like basic rudimentary skills, but I never actually like I was self-taught, what have you, but like I would like but in ideally learning an instrument so that I can write a song, I think piano is a good place to start, because at least it's more so, when I say relearn, I mean more so getting back into the habit of like practicing, because that it has been something that's been on my mind for like a while, but because I haven't touched my keyboard in months, if not a whole ass fucking year again. Unfortunately, it's going down there, baby. And you're probably wondering, damn, Birch, you really have not completed anything in this time yet? We're getting there. We're just gonna hit the sort of rest of the learns like real quick back to back. First up, learn how to cross stitch. I've like looked into it. I literally do not even have supplies. Next up, learn a new language. I'm going to take this as a moment to make this vlog a fuck Duolingo stance at the moment, because they just fired most of their employees to fucking do AI and shit. Find a different language learning app besides Duolingo. I know I need to do so. This, I'm defining learn as like, I'll never be fully conversational because I'm learning this. I'll be learning a new language at 29. So like, I'm giving up on like fluency, but at least learning enough of a new language so I can like read and have basic understand. Like the weeb I am, I'm finally going to actually commit to learning Japanese. But yes, also because I do not have a platform to currently learn on at the moment, or have any sort of starting point in attempting. That is also down here for the time being. Learning in progress. Learn at least 5 speedruns. I'm also defining this as I've not only learned a route or a run for it, but I've also completed a run. Submitted that to a board, submitted that to a marathon, etc. To codify it being a speedrun, or that I have done a speedrun. But yeah, so this is actually going to be the only learn that is currently in progress, because I have. If you saw King of Ping Pong on the list there, I've effectively speedran that already, and there's a few games that I like have on a short list to either learn by myself or with somebody. Now, what's next is getting a speedrun into a marathon. Can you tell me where this is possibly going to go, class? That's right. In Done. The magic of also delaying this vlog until like for another month is that I had submitted King of Ping Pong to a couple marathons back at the end of GDQ submission period, but also a smaller, comparatively smaller event in Power Up with Pride, a queer-led speedrunning marathon about and King Ping Pong got into Power Up with Pride 2025. Let's go. The weekend of June 15th, I'm going to be running a speedrun on first time ever. What the fuck? they really let me. They really let me going to be on broadcast as the main point of focus. I cannot stress enough, or this vlog cannot stress enough, how questionable of an idea that can be at sometimes. Anyway. Moving on. Speaking of speedrunning marathons, volunteering for at least 5 speedrunning marathons. So I could say 30, but I just legitimately do not think there are enough events and weekends that I can justify 30. Also, hence, learning speedruns is only at 5 because, Jesus Christ, the 30-bit had to stop at some point, and it stops here. Because also, for 5 speedrunning marathons, that was like done by March. I was just on it, apparently. The fuck. But with that, I have also, I'm counting this as more as done because I've also been added as volunteer staff for another marathon with a handful of friends of mine in Multithon, and I'm a social media team member there. So I make it to posts. As well as I'm video. My Zero vlog got me a video editing job with the organization Lady Arcaders. So you know, your girl is doing shit. But anyway, speaking of GDQ, going on 2 trips. I'm counting that as done. I have not physically gone on my second trip yet, but most likely I'm recording this on May 5th, as we have already established. I'm recording this on Cinco de Mayo. But, dear viewers at home, most likely by the time you are watching this, I will be on my way on my second trip, in which I'm going... you know what, I'm going to just also explain it with the next one on this, and that is go on a date. Yeah, I have a girlfriend. Which, like, I'm speechless in that I just don't know how to describe how lucky I feel that things have worked out this way. But when I put go on a date on that goddamn fucking vlog to begin with, that was initially going to be a bit. Like, I knew, or like that, for the viewers at home who watched that previous one and are holding me accountable, I did that as a bit for that one. I was like, you know, if I go on a date, that's fine. But so, shockingly enough, I have a girlfriend now. Anyway, my trip this upcoming weekend is going to see her. So that's fun. Which brings me to the next great one. Do stand-up comedy. I don't know, fam. You know, really ending on a high note here. Or we're not even ending yet. I feel like I'm really glossing over the fact that I have a girlfriend, and I'm trying not to. She's amazing. I really cannot stop gushing about her. But for some reason, now that I'm doing that in front of a camera, just thinking about her makes me speechless. Our last and final codified goal is going to be start exercising regularly again. Which, if you can't tell by how sweaty I was getting just, like, sitting here and talking, yeah, it's in the fuck if I know. So here's the final board. If anything, what my fellow viewers at home, what this progress report has showed me is that, like, I've done more in these 4 months than I thought I have. Yeah, it's very easy to look at the bottom of this Fuck If I Know and see that it's filled entirely and have this sense of, like, oh, have I really accomplished anything if, like, all of these are, like, not done. But then I look to the things that I've done some of, or I've even completed, and realize that I've done a lot more. And if I could end this video on a more sort of positive note, theoretically, is that, like, you really do have to look at the whole picture. You have to see the forest for the trees. And although progress may not seem like it is necessarily there, or the level of progress that you may have wanted at this point in time, it is there. Life happens. Things continue to happen. But even then, as life continues to happen, great things may still come out of it regardless. To quote Ferris Bueller, life comes at you pretty fast. And if you don't stop to take a look around, you might miss it. There we go. I ended every video with a platitude then. Basically. God, I didn't even... Do I have a funny bit line to say as, like, post credits at this point? I feel like I have to. I may not, but, you know, fuck it, we ball. Yeah. But not only does life move pretty fast, sometimes you just gotta say, fuck it, we ball. And if you take the axiom that ball is life, sometimes you just gotta stop and say, fuck it, we live. And fuck if I know if anything else than to live.
I'm so goddamn tired all the time, and I'm not even awake. I'm sleeping in too late, past the morning every day. So goddamn tired all the time, and I'm not even awake. I'm sleeping in past days in the evening.
God, I'm just doing all this. This is all just one take. Hey, Shadow. It's me, the devil.